Okay, first thing first, I want to ask you guys something. Are you afraid of making mistakes? Ever since we were a little kid, our brain is programmed to think that making mistakes is equal to punishment or something bad. And in this video, I want to share with you guys 3 different types of mistakes that I believe that are out there that we can possibly make. And I'm also going to share with you guys why I believe that making mistakes can be awesome. Like I said, can be awesome. It can either pull you down or lift you up depending on how you take that in. With that being said, if you guys are new here, my name is Robin, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, please subscribe down below and hit that bell notification so you guys can see my videos every single week. Okay, now let's get into it. Okay, let's start off this video by talking about 3 different types of mistakes that are out there. Starting with number 1, the first type of mistake that I believe that we can possibly make is there's point A, there's point B. Now before we start, this video might be all over the place because I have no scripts or no research, and this is coming from my perspective with my point of view and with my examples. So hang with me till the end, because if you watch this video till the end, you guys will get the whole point. So let's get back to the video. There's point A, there's point B. To get to point B from point A, you know that you might make mistakes along the way to get to point B. Well, guess what? For example, in this channel, I'm at point A right now. To get to point B, I know for a fact that I might make mistakes along the way, like having a bad quality of the video, a bad video idea, or overall just bad video. That might happen along the way to get to point B. But guess what? We'll talk more about that later in the video. But our second type of mistake that I believe that are out there we can possibly make is a type of mistake that if you go from point A to point B, you know that it's a mistake from going from point A to point B. Like, it's not a possibility, it's a mistake from going from point A to point B. But guess what? You still do it. And we'll talk more about that later in the video. But our third type of mistake is point A, point B. If you go from point A to point B, you believe that you're gonna make no mistakes and everything's gonna be good. But guess what? When you get to point B, you realize that you made a bad mistake or just a mistake. It can happen. And let me give you guys an example. A few days ago, me and my friend decided to prank call another friend, and it looks something like this. Point A, point B. What I thought was, I'm going from point A to point B. We're pranking our friend. It's gonna be no mistakes. That's what I believe from my point of view before we started the prank. And we got to point B and we realized that it was a bad mistake. Now that mistake can either pull us down or lift us up. Now depending on how we take that in, like for example, I take that in as an opportunity to get better, learn from it, and moving forward, it's definitely gonna help us out see things better. Not just in that situation or just not with us, but overall in general. So like I said, 3 different types of mistakes, and let me explain to you guys a little bit more now what I think and my perspective and my point of view. Okay, does not matter which type of mistake that you're making. First type of mistake, second or third. Regardless, it's a mistake. And whatever type of mistake it is, well, guess what? It happened or it's gonna happen. And that's either going to pull you down or lift you up. What I mean by that is it's all about mindset. What I mean by that is if you see that mistake as an opportunity to get better, learn from it, and move on, being the better version of yourself, I think that's an amazing mistake. Well, guess what? It might not be great that you made the mistake, but moving forward, you realize things, you learn things, you self-improve yourself. Like I said earlier in the video, making mistakes can be amazing. Why? Because it can help you be the better version of yourself. It can lift you up. It can also tear you down by making you think that, oh my god, that's a mistake, and like it's easy to pull yourself down when you make a mistake. Personally, I love making mistakes because that helped me to see things very differently, and moving on, it helps me be a better version of myself. Like for example, 1 year till now, I made so many mistakes in life about whatever it might be, and if I didn't have made those type of mistakes, I believe that I would not be here. I would not have reached the point that I have reached right now, which is, I think for me, it's the point that I'm happy with myself. I got to experience things. I got to realize the mistake that I made and better myself, and moving forward to not make the same mistake. With that being said, let me give you guys an example of one of the mistakes that I made in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. So I was eating in one of my class. I was hungry. I was eating. And well, guess what? My teacher yelled at me. She kicked me out. She gave me detention. Well, guess what? From next day, I always ate in that class, but she never got to see it because I never let her see that I was eating ever again, because I knew the consequences. Now, if that teacher would have talked to me saying, I don't want you to eat in this class because of and this and that, and if you are really hungry, if you have to really eat, you can step outside for a minute to eat. Well, guess what? She didn't see my perspective and I didn't see her perspective. My perspective was, I was hungry and I had to eat and nothing was gonna happen. Her perspective was, I was not following her rules, so she kicked me out, she yelled at me. Well, to me, yelling or punishing someone who made a mistake, it's such a bad idea. For example, if I had a kid, is it better for me to yell at him and ground him for making mistakes or doing something wrong? Or is it better for me to explain to him from my perspective so he can see from my perspective and what I think, the pros and cons of doing stuff like that? And when you see the same thing from a different perspective, the whole thing changes. Like seriously, it can help change your life to a whole new level, because your perspective might not be the same from someone else's perspective. It's good to hear each other's perspective, and because that helps us see life in a different angles. With that being said, oh my god. Now, I want to ask that question again. Are you afraid of making mistakes? Now, if you say yes, what I want you to do is find the reason why you are afraid. Is it because something bad can happen, or is it because you are scared of that, this, him, her, or whatever it might be? For example, with the prank that we talked about earlier in the video with my friends and all that stuff. Point A, point B. We got to point B. We realized that was a bad prank, bad mistake. Now that's either gonna pull us down or lift us up, depending on how you take that in. How you take in mistakes can really affect your action and what you do in life. If you are afraid of making mistakes, if you think that mistakes will drag you down, you are probably not going to make or try to make mistakes because you are afraid. Now, if you think that mistakes is an opportunity to learn from it, you are not afraid of trying or doing stuff because you have a positive mindset. The idea of me making this video actually came from me and my friend pranking another friend, which didn't end well, and I thought I could share my perspective to you guys and maybe help understand making mistakes a little bit better. Now, I wish I could go back to the past me and tell myself that making mistakes is not so bad after all, because that just helps you get better and see things differently from maybe different perspective and stuff like that. I believe that yelling or punishing someone for a mistake they have done is something that is really bad. Instead, just helping see things from a different angle and different perspective is a whole lot better than yelling, punishing. If this video helped you a little bit and made you realize that making mistakes is not so bad after all, then please let me know in the comment section below. That would mean a lot to me. That would mean a world to me that this video was able to help at least one of you guys out. With that being said, guys, thank you for making it to the end. I appreciate you guys. If you still have not, subscribe down below and turn on that bell notification, because only 10% of you guys have turned that bell on. So turn on that bell notification down below so you guys get notified when I upload videos. That would mean a lot to me. I would really appreciate that. And thank you guys for watching again. See you guys next time.